Guys, welcome back to the channel. I just finished a Divine Feminine reading, and I was kind of just sitting here asking if I was going to do a Divine Masculine reading as well. I usually like to do both of them, and I've got my music on right now. It's the U2 music, not even the U2 station, just straight up U2 music. And this song really stood out to me. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And it feels very, very vulnerable masculine. I've scaled these city walls only to be with you, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. It's almost like I was just talking in the feminine reading about codependency, and for a lot of you, the masculine was connecting with feminine energy through a trauma bond, through the need to feel comfort and nurturing because of the mother wound that they have, toxic feminine energy that they've always known in their life. And it's like, this masculine is like, I did everything that I possibly could. Nothing was ever good enough though. But it feels like that energy comes from like the need to do in order to earn love from a feminine. He's still searching though. It really feels like he's searching for the source of that. Carry the cross of my shame. The source of where his shame comes from. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. It's like he's trying really hard to prove himself. He's been trying for a really long time to prove himself. Where does that come from? You know, I feel like he's asking that question right now. Like, where does that come from? Why do I always feel like I need to prove myself so much? Why do women always make it seem as if like I have to do more and I have to, not just women obviously, but it's like that's how it's coming out, the way he's saying it. It's like men have always, and I guess it's a primal kind of thing too, like the male of the species always had to be the most beautiful or put on the biggest show in order to win the heart of the feminine and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like nature, obviously. But when it comes to this masculine's heart, he did all of that. And, you know, if there's this, I just see the, like planet Earth, there is this animal that has all of these really beautiful feathers and stuff like that. And they put on this huge show, and the female of the species is going to choose one or the other. If let's say there's two of the male, she's going to choose one or the other. This masculine, it feels like, has the pattern of never being chosen. Like, what else do I have to do? There's always someone who's better. There's always, like, in this pattern in his life is always this feminine energy choosing someone else. Maybe, and it feels a little bit like he would get taken advantage of. Like this feminine he would lavish everything on her, and she would absorb all of that, and she would love the attention and the show and the not game, but I hear game. He thinks that it's all a game, that she's just attaching to what it is that he has to get. And then as soon as she like absorbs all that she can from him and he starts to relax into the connection, she chooses somebody else or something. And it feels like this is a pattern in his life, that he's never chosen. He's never chosen. He's never chosen. And what I'm hearing from my guides is that he has a hard time knowing how to just be himself. Like this over-giving and giving his all and wanting to share everything with somebody else and like doing as much as he can is not really him. That's not totally him. Like, he's a very giving person, but he doesn't know how to just be himself and just be, which is a very feminine energy because he never had that feminine influence in his life. I'm just like straight up channeling. I don't know if I need the cards right now, but he's like, could you just let me speak? Never had the feminine influence. The feminine in his life was always very toxic masculine because she was always trying to protect herself or whatever. Never could just be. He always had to do something in order to please his mom or his sister or whoever, whatever feminine it was in his life. Always needed to do more. Always needed to be a certain way in order for her to feel safe. There's a little bit of this needing to provide. He needs to provide a safe space in order for him to feel safe. But at the end of the day, it always ended up with him on the short end of the stick. Connection was always based out of, just like the Divine Feminine reading, always based out of codependency. Now, the feminine reading felt a lot more like it was very broad. It was much more broad. It was family connections. It was relationships. It was work. It was money. It was her relationship with all of these different things. But for this masculine, it feels more like this, the energy of this reading is specifically about romantic relationships. And how there is this pattern of never being chosen, always giving and giving and giving so much, and it just never being enough. Because he's never known how to, yeah, exactly. There's this, I've got this Argonite here that one of my clients made and sent to me, and it says, be yourself on it. And I just keep seeing that. He doesn't know how to be himself. He's very sensitive. See the feminine symbol here? He's very sensitive. He's very emotional. He's very soft. But he's never known how to be a masculine, but be soft and give that part of himself too. There's been this imbalance of, because he's so soft, it just kind of airs a little bit more on the feminine side. So then he would try to, while he was courting somebody else or something, shift into masculine energy, what he believed was masculine energy. And it ended up being too much. It ended up being not enough just sharing your emotions, just being, that feminine kind of energy. It's like he's not quite sure how to just be a masculine but feminine at the same time. That's what this is showing me too. Like, he really loves being emotional. Like, one of his favorite things is to be emotional, and I'm seeing like affectionate, really affectionate. He's never, part of that never being chosen was like a physical thing, it feels like too. Like, he didn't get enough hugs when he was younger. And so it kind of always turned out that way, like him not feeling wanted, like physically wanted. That's what I'm seeing too. Physically desired, because this masculine, it feels like it's not, I just heard like softer around the middle. So, he's not like the typical manly man who works out and has all these muscles, and, his body is a little bit softer, and it's almost like he has this pattern of women in his life always choosing that man, always choosing the one who is the heartthrob, and them choosing men in a physical way instead of from an emotional aspect. Just like what I was talking about with the animals, like this physical show of like this mating ritual. he feels like that's what dating is this big mating ritual. And I feel like he's kind of online dating right now. It may be that he's online dating right now. Which is twofold, because it's very physical and it's like, people deciding if they're going to meet up with you according to your pictures or whatever. But when you're talking to someone first before you meet them, you actually have the ability to, establish an emotional connection too, just by talking and stuff. So it's kind of twofold right now, but he's a little bit disheartened by putting himself out there. I'm hearing that it's not an intuitive process. It's like I just heard Neanderthal. I'm like, where's the advice for the divine masculine, or for the divine feminine that's watching for her masculine? Where is the advice? It's more about him revealing himself. Like, he's making the effort right now to just peel back all the layers and just like to be real, to just be, and to reveal himself right now. He just wants to be himself and just be. Like, right now, I'm just flabbergasted at the way that this, like, I could do and do and do and do and do, and none of it would ever be good enough. Why is that? Why is that? Like, he's looking for the pattern there, recognizing that it always happens. It is a pattern. And so how does he just sit back and allow an intuitive connection with the feminine in his life? It's like he's very contemplative when it comes to that right now. It feels a little bit like he's disconnected from his physical body. Like, there's a little bit of self-rejection because he compares himself to those other men, like I was talking about. Like, he was raised to be a man, and being a man, in the influences in his life showed him that, your physical appearance was a big deal. And he's never really had that gene, I hear. So he's a little bit disconnected from his body. It's almost like a little bit of body rejection. And it takes him up into his head. Feels like he may have been rejected by somebody specifically because of his body. Like, that was a traumatic experience, and that keeps getting triggered in him, but it puts him up in his head again. Now, when he sees, I think he's seeing that connection though. I think he's seeing that he has a hard time with his body. Like, maybe he has body shame issues. We were talking about the song quote came on, like the bearing the cross of my shame. I feel like he's a little bit ashamed of his body. Oh my gosh. But he's recognizing that and learning how to connect back in with himself again. And he wants you to know this. It's like he wants the feminine, whether it's his specific feminine or the feminine collective, like all women, he wants them to know that men are so sensitive about their bodies. The expectations sometimes that women have on the display, that, like, what they want the men to present to them is a little bit distorted, he's noticing. And he wants you to notice something about him physically that, this is weird, I'm not sure what he's saying, that you maybe never would have noticed before. Like, I'm hearing soft around the middle again. Like, you love soft around the middle. And I mean, beautiful abs are beautiful abs, and people like to look at that. But at the end of the day, is that the thing that you are built to share your life with? Or is there a sort of attraction to what that softness represents, right? like it represents a little bit more of a, not just a softer side, but I'm just seeing like I'm just listening to the song right now. I see like an inner child, like an inner teenager who's really like the sweetest kid you've ever met, but he always gets picked on and teased and bullied because, you know, he's surrounded by all of these really skinny teenage boys, and he's the one that, I don't know, just always had a hard time keeping the weight off in that area, no matter what he did. And he was athletic. And this guy does feel athletic for some reason, but there was always that little belly. There are some women who, like, I just love that. I just love holding on to that. Or, he has a hard time embracing it, but he's starting to do that now. So I don't know where all of that is coming from, or where it's all going. I'm just telling you what he's saying. Ha! All right. So this card came out in the feminine reading, and it was about her like consciously manifesting in her life and setting intentions for the kind of relationships that she wants and the kind of way that she's going to express herself in the world. And now what he's saying is put that in your list of things to manifest. Put that on your list. You know, divine feminine. Do you have a list of characteristics of your divine masculine? And on that list, is it like the perfect body, you know, perfect size package, making sure that he's this way and this way? Because if you're going to put all of your wishes out to the universe, let's, you know, make it as bold and specific and perfect as we possibly can, right? His energy right now is like, put that on your list. Put that on your list of characteristics. Someone who is a little bit soft around his middle. Physically, he's got a little tummy. Put that on your list. He's like daring you almost. Because that little bit of realness and humanness, he's like, make that person human. Not perfect. The divine masculine energy that you tune into is an energy. It's the 5D. And you're trying to translate that in a 3D way in order to manifest your person into your life. But he's not perfect, and he's never going to be perfect. He's never going to be 5D perfect. He is human. He's supposed to be human. So what do you love about him? Put something on there that is real. That's what it's like, this challenge. I feel this really challenging energy from him. Put that on your list. Somebody just seeing like, and it's not like I'm seeing it, but like it's this small package like we're talking about. He's like, put that on your list. Put that on your list. Because he is perfectly imperfect. And he's willing to give you everything that he has from the deepest places inside of him. But those places have been layered over by life and by his physical form that are really hard for you to see through the physical aspect. He's willing to give you, and it's like back to the energy of this in the beginning, like giving you everything that I have and it's never been enough and blah, blah, blah. And he was always trying to do so much. Right now, he's offering to be everything that he is, to be himself. He wants more than anything to really be himself. But, and I hear this but I am not I'm not the perfect vessel. Can you work with me here? Can that be something that you dream about? Someone who is perfectly imperfect, who has sensitivities, who recognizes them, who is willing to be open about them and to at least be real. Can you open yourself to real and not just an ideal? Because it's like he's sitting there waiting. He's really waiting. He's really waiting for you to open the door and to manifest him. He now has been putting in all of the work to do. There's only so much that I can do and manifest. It's like he's done as much manifesting as he possibly can to bring you into his life. And he's sitting in that feminine energy of reception, or he's learning how to receive you now. Can you step into that masculine energy and manifest not from a place of codependency and need, but from real desire and real partnership? And can you open yourself up to letting someone share all of them with you without them revealing their sensitivities, making you feel unsafe? Like that may be the pattern for you, is that anytime that they say something that makes them seem a little bit weak, like I'm sensitive about my physical body, or, you know, when someone says this, it hurts my feelings every single time, and I'm having a really hard time with that, or something that, you know, I don't know, just stereotypically would make a man seem weak. Which would trigger in you a fear, not feeling safe, like he could protect you, or that, you know, his weakness is like a chink in the armor and you have to protect yourself against that because at some point that could damage you or whatever. It's like, can you move past your codependency and need to feel safe? It's like that fight or flight response that we were talking about. For some of you feminines that are watching this, the sensitivities that the world imprint as weaknesses in a man are aspects of your divine masculine that trigger you to not feel safe because of your previous history. But the shift in perspective that he's asking you for in this reading is about seeing how empowering it is to be in that vulnerable space and to choose you to share those vulnerabilities with. It takes a very, very, very strong person to reveal vulnerabilities and what may be deemed as weaknesses to you. He's choosing, though, to share those things with you. And so there's a pattern maybe in you that kind of used those things against him in order to protect yourself from the depth that he's able to go to. This is definitely for some of you, this is someone from the past. For some of you, this is that he is not able to have children. That's a very specific thing, obviously. Or that he doesn't want children, has never wanted children, or isn't able to have them for some reason, that he, something about his kids, like if he does have kids, that his kids are better off with their mother because of the situation that she's in or something like that. It may seem like he's not doing what he's supposed to do for his children, but it actually is the best situation for the kids to be with their mom. It's best for the kids because of the school that they go to, and he sees them, and he is the best dad in the world. But what might look like a weakness to some people, he is a little bit sensitive about that because he understands the judgment from other people, but deep down inside, he knows that this is like him being a really good dad or something like that. That's obviously very specific situations. This is about soulmates too. Like this, for some of you, this is a very strong life partner, soulmate that is waiting for you. And he believes in soulmates and that kind of dreamy fairy tale idea of love has always like kicked him in the ass or gotten him in trouble, or people would judge him for that. But he really does believe in soulmates, and he does believe that you're out there. He's like wishing for you. And that's a very sensitive thing for him to admit, that he's waiting for he knows that his soulmate is out there. He's just frustrated and trying to figure out how to get to her. He believes in soulmates. Okay? That's on the bottom of the deck. That's what's holding everything up, is he has this dream person. And for so many of you, like, you are his dream person. As you are right now. Stop trying to fix yourself. Look at the patterns of needing to be perfect, or doing so much, or connecting to other people because you were never good enough, or there's something in you right now that doesn't feel good enough, that mirrors what he's talking about too. And I don't think that you realize that it's like he's wishing for you. All of those flaws that you think are the worst part of you, or things that you need to fix before, you let somebody else in, or I need to put myself together, or I need to make sure that my hair is always just so, or I need to make sure that my finances are all stable, and those things in you are those flaws, or that perfectly imperfect person that he has a list of. So you, just as you are right now, are exactly what he's wishing for. Can you just let yourself be that and feel confident in that? Because that's what he's striving for right now too, is to just accept himself as he is, and to know he's exactly where he needs to be in order to just be himself. He wants you to be able to be yourself no matter what. You don't need to lose 10 pounds before you go on that dating website, or you don't need to do this and do this and do this in order to, make yourself worthy or whatever. And you have to have those same desires inside of you, that somebody else doesn't need to be all those perfect things for you either. Just be. Okay? Thank you, Divine Masculine. Just listening to the song right now to hear if anything else was coming on. I don't really hear anything except just a couple of notes. Don't hear lyrics. Just about the music. Just tune into the music. What is your heart saying? He's really trying to let his heart shine. He's trying to let his heart lead. That's what it is. He's trying to let his heart lead. And when he does that, there's this really beautiful just zest for life that he has. Put that on your list, okay? Put that on your list of attributes for what your soulmate possesses. A real zest for life, and just this love of life and people and peace and just being. That on your list too. He really just wants to live and share his, he's so bountiful, I hear. Which is an interesting word for him to use. But I just hear this bounty, so successful that he wants to share his life. He wants to share all of these things that he has. And again, this goes back to that Divine Feminine reading again, too. There was an aspect of her kind of hoarding a little bit and not being able to share her life or share her things or share her space. And that's all he wants to do. It's share all of this and not just lavish someone else with a, extravagant lifestyle or something like that, but it's he's acquired a lot of things in his life in order to be able to have experiences. That's what he really wants more than anything, is to share these experiences with other people. So he's got a boat, he's got a nice house, he's got a beach house or something like that. Not because he wants to show it off to other people and he wants to be able to have experiences and take trips and take road trips and go out on the boat and spend the night on this island or something like that, or this camper. He got these things not for all of the show of it all, but to be able to share experiences, and he can provide them. He can. So when you remove the codependent energy in your field, it's like you open yourself up to allowing that to come in. He just wants to share his life. He wants to share his things. He wants to share everything, all aspects of himself and his life and everything, and just like really start living. Really start living and having experiences and adventures and exploring and blah, blah, blah. Okay? All right, guys. This divine masculine is very, very, very dreamy. Very dreamy, but he's been working really hard to manifest just a really beautiful daily existence, not striving for the next thing and having to have everything be perfect. There is this pattern of people in his life that just want everything to be perfect, and he's got to be perfect and blah, blah, blah. Like, he's like, I fuck up all the time. But I am open about it, and I admit it, and I'm okay with learning from it. And he will say he's sorry, and he will never hurt you. But he will make mistakes, just like you will too. You have to let yourself. He's trying to let himself admit his mistakes. And for some of you, this is someone from the past who is coming back to like admit his mistakes and show that he has come to a place of like real spiritual and emotional maturity, or he's trying to come to a place of real emotional maturity. Can you meet him there? Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. If you guys want a private reading, if you want to dig into your situation or your divine masculine energy or get a little bit more detail about this, you can book a private reading down in the box below. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.